Hello and welcome. So today I am going to be having a look at the Guardian's Quick Cryptic crossword, and this is being published on Saturday the 25th of October 2025, and it's number 82 in the series. So what we have is we have 1111 by grid, which is smaller than the normal 15 by 15, and we only get 4 clue types, which today are anagrams, charades, which is where you put together 2, 3, 4 components, or a five-part component charade this week. Reversals, which is where you have one word going forward that is a word coming backwards, so dog and god. And alternate letters, where you just take the alternate letters from words in the clue and you get the answer. So we like alternate letters, they're great because they're fairly easy to kind of work out. Anagrams are in the clue somewhere, reversals can be hard to think of, and charades can be a bit ooh. So not sure how this can go. This one's been set by Panga Kupu, who seems to be becoming a regular in the QC slot, so that's nice. And as ever, I talk these through very slowly. There's a link down in the description to tell you if you want to get the puzzle yourself. And yeah, I talk it through slowly, just talk about how, what I'm seeing to try and help people understand it. As it's beginner's crossword, I try and help the beginners. So anyway, let's crack on. One across, jumped over crushed petal. I'm looking at petal and 5 letters. I'm looking at petal having 5 letters, crushed being a kind of anagram indicator, which means that if I was looking for a word that meant jumped over, it could be leapt, because it's past tense, so leapt is in the past. Right, 4 across, 5 letters. Measles, perhaps. Well, that's some kind of disease. So I think we're looking for an example, perhaps suggest we're looking for an example of what measles is an example of this thing. Comes to an end after setback. Okay, so that's probably one of these reversal clues. Setback being the reversal indicator, I would think. Comes to an end is ends, finishes, overs. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that gives me letters or anything, so I'm going to move on to the next clue. And that's always my advice to people when they're looking at one of these puzzles. Spend a little bit of time on it, see if you can think of anything, and then move on. Because you want to get, hopefully there will be some clues you can get on the board, can get letters. And then you can start to fill. You could alternatively just work off these, and some weeks you'll see me do that. But today anyway, 7 across, 7 letters. Exclusive period for feathers. Feathers are down. Exclusive period is an age. Era down. Again, nothing coming to mind there, so let's go to 8 across. Time is quite often, could be an era, could be an age, could be abbreviated to T, to ignore periodic bits. Okay, so this is an alternation of hearsay. And yeah, 2nd, 4th, 6th letters of hearsay are the ERA, which is era, which is a time. So time is the definition. Let's go to 9 across, 4 letters. Returning, one of these setback groups. Clues. Group of hunters to be busy. Group of hunters is a hunt. My synonyming as my thesaurus has gone today. Group of hunters ends in S. Could mean that the word coming back ends in S and therefore starts with S, but I'm not entirely sure that's going to be the case this time. But I'm going to stick an S there as a possibility, and remember it's just possibility. 10 across, tension in street. Now street is normally abbreviated to ST, and it's in that, so well, and then I read the rest of the clue which says with wet weather. 6 letters, well, wet weather is rain, isn't it, and strain is tension, but ST for street comes up a lot, definitely worth remembering that. 12 across, aluminium, well that's normally AL. Bottoms in collection of tracks. Collection of traps is okay. Think of record collections, and you've got albums, and now I can back past that and think, well, why is that bums? Well, bums are bottoms. So yeah, there we go. 4 letters, 14 across. Water, plant, could be a lily maybe. Hunted, animal, turned over. Well, if it was Lily, that is a whale. That's not going to be the answer, is it? Excuse me. Water plant could, I suppose, mean to water the plant. I don't know that I can think of a word for that. Irrigate. It's too long. Hunted animal. I'm going to have to start doing some thinking, aren't I, if this happens. Could that be a deer and a reed? A reed. Is a reed a water plant? I think it is. And a deer is the hunted animal, which is turned over. Now, turned over is next to the hunted animal, so therefore you turn that over, and therefore it becomes the reed. It's a bit like the sound likes. What is next to the indicator is the one to change. Let's try on to 17. Draw trike at odd moments. Well, I've just read the clue in wholesomeness in my eyes. I've seen at odd moments, so trike is next to that. If we go T-I-E, first, third and fifth letters, we get tie. And a tie in a football match or any kind of sporting contest is a draw. Also known as a draw, so there. Yeah. 18 across, creative folk in dire straits. Now, my first thought about that is people like Mark Knopfler and John Elsley, because I was reading a book about dire straits earlier this year. Excuse me, but it isn't going to be anything to do with dire straits. Dire straits makes me think there might be an anagram. Straits is 7 letters. Dire could be your anagram indicator, in which case creative folk are artists, aren't they? So now now you can see why I've gone on. Forgot these clues I didn't know at the time, because look at how many letters I've got towards the other ones. So let's keep going through the across clues. Excuse me. 5 letters. Orders, kitchen, item. So as I'm looking at orders, I'm thinking, is that 5 letters? No, it isn't. Kitchen, item, to be returned. Excuse me. Well, kitchen item that comes to mind is a timer. And a timer put backwards is remit. Now, is to remit to order? I'm not sure it is. So I've got a choice here. I could just take out these letters and leave it there, or I could just have a look at this one here. And a fish is a bream. Amber is an anagram of bream. At sea could be your anagram indicator. So yeah, bream would fit. This one here, 11. M something A something T. Translation of mutual. I've got an MAT in mutual. It's 6 letters. Feature of German text is the umlaut. Now. While I complain about not having done French for 40 years, when French clues come up, I have done German a little bit more recently. Like, I went on, did it for a bit longer. So maybe timer is going to be order. Remit. I'm going to leave that. I'm still going to leave that like that, but I think that is probably the answer. Let's look at the last cross clue. Material, beam of light, working. Working could be on. Another thing on a beam of light could be ray, and ray on is material. So there we go. Right. Should we knock off some of these ones down here? 19. S-I-N. Probably sun or sun. Or an U going in there. Child is a sun. S-O-N. Intermittently. So yeah, the first, third and fifth letters of swoon are S-O-N. Intermittently is your alternate letter indicator. This must be essay, mustn't it? Regular parts of least scary piece of writing. Well, a piece of writing is an essay. So I think that's the answer. Regular parts of least scary. So we've got the second and fourth letters of least. We've got the first, third and fifth letters of scary to get us there. Now, if I was going for speed here, I might well just a lot of people would probably just go, essay is piece of writing, and bung that in and not even bother to work out why the rest of it is. Some of the really good solvers can do that. I tend to just confirm to myself that that's what's going on. I don't think there's any other word that can go there, but it's worth doing, I think. 16 for the extra few seconds it takes. 16, something T, something R, star or something. Twirling, that's annoying lead performer. Excuse me. Okay, right, so we've got star as a lead performer, and backwards that reads rats. Well, rats is kind of that, what you might say, rats, damn, blast, rats. Something that's annoying is, you might say rats too. Twirling is saying put it backwards. Not very keen on that, rats, for that's annoying, but I suppose it's okay. Right, should we look at some more of these down clues? Let's look at this. Well, I've got an S there, I'm not sure about it. Let's go L something. Drink, lap, friend knocked over, yeah, a pal. A friend is a pal. Pal turned over becomes lap. If you see drinking possible in a crosswords, other than thinking about things you might actually drink, think of lap and sup as possibilities for drink. 2 down. A, entertain, and then A is in the clue. We've got an A there. Source of inspiration. Blah. A muse. A muse is a source of inspiration. Oh, let's try and spell that correctly. That could be a bit hard. And to amuse is to entertain. 3 down. T further. What cafes supply at odd places in T-E-P-S. No, T-E-A-S. There we are. So the odd letters of the pass. T-E and Yaf. Okay, so odd places isn't saying take the odd letters of pass. It's saying just once you start going alternations, take every other odd character. So that means you go from E being the last letter of that, miss the first one of P, A, something. Yep, see? Let's go 4 down. Detective, sorted out. Hustle, well, we've got 6 letters, we've got a T, hustle's got a T in it, and a sleuth is a detective. It's an anagram of hustle. Sorted out is your anagram indicator. So there you go, right, we ought to just try and knock this one off, I think. Exclusive period for feathers. Okay, I can now go that feathers are plumage. So yeah, plum is exclusive and age is a period. Okay, I wasn't getting that from the clue. Which again shows you the value of, just skipping over that has made myself quicker rather than sitting and thinking about that for a long time with nothing in place. 5 down. Excuse me. Something E, something A. Couple. Dream has got those. It's 5 letters. Got that E and A. Off could be an anagram indicator, but then off and on in. Okay. La bohème, which is what's going on there? L-A-O-E. Something, or is it couple dream? Yes, there, isn't it? So I've got my A-R-E, so that's an era, opera, O-P, gosh, okay, opera. So yeah, second, fourth and sixth letters of couple, and then the second and fourth of dream. Off and on is your irregular, take alternate letters. Indicator, and La Bohème, I believe it's said, is an example of an opera, which is why it's got a question mark on it, just to indicate you're looking for an example of this. Let's look at 6. Something A, something D. That's probably going to be NED. Describing decorative glass. One thing is stained glass. Broken instead. I can see instead is actually 7 letters. It's got the A, N, maybe an E, D in it, and it's an anagram stained. So let's go with that. Yep. So broken is your anagram indicator, and describing decorative glass is stained. Up here, S something, O something, S. Measles perhaps comes to an end after setback. Comes to an end. Spots. So is it spots or tops? Stops is come to an end, so spots is what measles are an example of. Yep. So comes to end is stops. It's next to the after setback indicator, so set that back from stops to become spots. Right, we're getting down to these last 2 or 3. This is the only down clue left, I think. 9 down, quite long, 7 letters. I'm not sure about that S, am I? Excuse me. Attribute displayed by alternate double crosser. Okay, is that alternate suggests take the alternate letters of attribute, is it? Which would be, there's no A in the middle of that. Or is it an anagram? Attribute. No, double crosser isn't that. Okay, so I'm stuck on these last 3, aren't I? Let's have a look at the return group of hunters to be busy. To be busy is to be not going to come to me. Is this remit? Orders kitchen item to be returned. Item has got the M and the T, but it's not enough letters to be an anagram. To be returned is fairly clear that it wants to be a word backwards for kitchen item, which I think is an egg timer. It makes orders remit. I think that's probably almost. So let's look at this one. Until I get this, I'm not going to fill that in, but I'm fairly confident. I don't think this is an S though. Attribute is sort of like a character. Displayed by makes me think it's a hidden word, but there isn't hidden words today. Alternative double crosser. I'm confident of albums and tie. those two I do because I've passed them and I've solved them. Excuse me. So, alternative double crosser, is this a charade? Alternative is other, but I haven't got enough letters to fit in other. Alternative is double crosser is a double crosser ends in ER, and I've got something R letter there, so I think that's probably going to be an attribute, and then by alternative is out, I think. Double crosser is a attribute. What would be attribute? No, it doesn't. Hang on, where am I getting my ER from? Alternative. Doesn't work, does it? My word, what's going on here? Attribute displayed by alternative double crosser. I keep looking at the word plaster, which is clearly nothing correct. I think it's going to be a charade, given the choices, really, because it can't. Alternative does suggest to me it should be a alternate letters, but if I look at attribute, there's no ATR in there somewhere. There might be one in there somewhere, but there's not one in double crosser, is there? I am confident about tie. That's the thing, because it's a draw, and it was just simply a, what was it? It was an odd moment, so it's just the first, third, and fifth letter of trike. So definitely tie and albums are right. So I think this has to be, unless double crosser means put it backwards. Not entirely sure about my orders as remit, but a kitchen item that's going to fit in there otherwise. I can't think of. Returning group of hunters to be busy. Right, I'm going to pause the video while I have a think to myself rather than bore you thinking about this stuff. You can see that sometimes it's possible to get stuck. I'll explain what I do when I get there. Okay, I'll give you a little update. I've been thinking to myself for a couple of minutes and I've decided this must be or. I was thinking this is either an ER or an or, and I think or is an alternative, so that's probably or. This one, remit, I'm convinced this is remit now because, what is your remit? What are you expected to do? What are your orders? So yeah, I've passed that one now. So that just leaves me looking now for an attribute displayed by alternative is an or to give you the name of double cross. Now I have just kind of alpha trawled this, gone through traitor. Yeah, a trait is an attribute, which leaves this to be a group of hunters. Returning group of hunters to be busy is to be team, I think. A group of hunters is a meet. So I think that's the answer. All that just kind of, well, as I say, I kind of sat here for a couple of minutes, got nowhere, then I thought all, and everything else you've just seen me fill in from the moment I came back, really. I didn't look anything up or anything, just had to do some thinking. And sometimes that's what you need. I would definitely advise that if you are doing these puzzles, you've got a week. There's only one quick cryptic a week, so put it aside, come back to it, even come back to it in 10 minutes, go downstairs, make a cup of tea, come back, look at it fresh. And you might see something different. And you've seen, hopefully you've seen there the value of checking letters that are going to help you see other things. As soon as I've got that T, I could fill in the rest of that. So there we go, let's check it all actually. I wanted to confirm it's correct, which I think it is. Yeah, so it's all ticked. Wow, slightly tough one there, I think, from Pangakupu. So anyway, thank you for watching.